Welcome back to the Blerd Spectrum podcast. This week we have a larger group of individuals. We have the LARPers and the cosplayers. This is not a versus battle. This is actually an opportunity for us to figure out what it is that these two groups do and how they intersect, how they are different, how they are in this Venn diagram that we call life. Anyway, so today I have a large group with us today, new individuals who've never been to the podcast before. So, feel free to hit them up, hit them in their DMs after the podcast. But let me introduce them, starting with myself, Tsuchino Shogun, our panelists, non-cosplayer or LARPer, the Doctor, and Kaze. For our LARPers today, we have Kincaid, the Frightener. We have Reverend, the Prophet of Profit, and Paranite Elting. For our cosplayers today, we have Sayone as Goddess Eris, Isis, Ms. Skittles as the lovely Sorceress Supreme, Jafarness, as well as the Black McCoy as one of the Akatsuki. So today what we want to do is we want to give the explanation, help you understand what these two groups do, and then give you a little bit more insight into maybe you want to do it as well. So what I'm going to allow first is the LARPers, Kincaid, Ren, and Paranite. Why don't you give our listeners and viewers an insight into what LARPing is all about?
First off, Kincaid, it's been a while since I've seen you. Since you last, I think, scared away half a country.
Indeed.
Yeah, he's still ugly and frightening as you are. Ugh, God, fix yourself. Ugh. But
we are the LARP group. Generally, what we do is we role play, but in our particular role play, it's more of a physical activity where we brandish handmade weaponry, handmade garb, and pretty much we go out in the field and we just beat each other with sticks.
it's a fantasy world which you are part of. It's almost like interactive theater, but it's outdoors where you guys can go camping, you can hang out with friends, and you go through these adventures that you personally go through, and you have to do certain things. Like, example, like if there's an Indiana Jones theme, you're going to see us try to replicate these events. Like, you might have a big boulder that rolls down the hill, you have to run down the hill to do it. And you have to use your own wit in order to get past it. What's great about LARPing is it brings out a different look or a different side of you that you thought you might have that's not there, because it's a lot different, especially for me.
There's also the aspect of you creating your own character, making someone that's maybe similar to yourself, making someone completely different from yourself. Developing the character is very much like writing your own story, and taking that from being in your own imagination, your own mind, and putting it into the real world is very euphoric.
Yes. Take, for instance, my character. I very much tailored it after actually somebody inside fantasy. It's the Dread Prior Roberts. Pretty much my character is very similar in style and in appearance than his. Take the Mask for Existence. And the weapons which I created, pretty much I have a rapier and also I have a crossbows, but that was kind of my own thing. But yes, basically it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody completely new, but you can tailor it after your pretty much your ideal character that you want to make.
Exactly. Like myself, I don't know if you can see my full garb. I'm in pretty much a graduation ceremony robe. My character is a pastor who is from the future, came to around the medieval times, and the only way for him, he came from a gang, and the only way for him to actually live in the new world was to actually find a way to make money. And he found out that gold is the main source. So why not, since he hid in a church, and a great place to hide money and fake as you are a church is to be a prophet or be a pastor. So my character is a prophet of profit. I have my own church of profit, and I go around collecting, of course, communions, funds, anything to raise for church for profit. This goes directly to me. But the one thing about this character I like is, in real life, I don't like gold. I hate gold. I think gold is a disgusting thing. But my character, Reverend, loves gold. Find gold anywhere. If I can make gold, if I can help you raise gold, I give me gold. I'll take it. I'll find a way. I don't really fight unless I have to. I talk. I'm an orator. I don't sing. I don't dance. I don't jig. None of that. I preach, because everyone needs to understand the word of gold is the way it is.
Yes, he is a bard. As far as his class is concerned.
Sorry. Yeah, we do have classes.
So are the classes necessary to be able to create your character, or you just
not really create a character? It gives you your essentially your skills in the adventure itself. So I don't know if anybody played
creation.
Yes,
you can use the classes as a jump-off point to create your character, but it's not necessarily your character isn't set in stone in those classic stereotypes, I guess.
in most LARP groups, they will have their own classes that you could be a part of, or a class you can be to go through the adventure. Because we're not just us doing all this on ourselves. We have skills that we have to use from our classes to help us complete the adventure. I myself, like Pierre and I said, I'm a bard. My job is to inspire and encourage, and to a little bit of heal. So what I do is, as an orator, one of my class skills is, as I oratate, I'm able to hand out these favors to people and give them certain abilities. Like, one ability is to grant them their shield is unbreakable. So if they have a shield, it doesn't break if someone hits them a couple of times, or a certain ability says your shield is broken. It's part of my
Kincaid, if Reverend is a bard, what is your class?
Officially, my class is Druid, but like I said, you can use the classes as a jump-off point, but
Necromancer.
the character is a little more complex. Druids use nature, magic, things like that to augment themselves and the people around them and their environment. But my character is a bit more dark. I use
Necromancer.
my power.
Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget.
Yes,
And what you've done to everybody. What you've done.
And,
Don't you forget what you've done to a lot of people. Because you affected my profit. That's your fault. My profit, because of you. I am down. My church is down money. Now I have to raise more funds. Can't stand you. Fix yourself. You owe me some gold. Wherever you are, owe me gold.
In any case, yes. I use my abilities to manipulate others in certain ways.
I definitely want to give the cosplayers an opportunity to tell a little bit about how they came to be and what they did, and a little bit more about cosplay. So, Miss Skittles, Sayone, the Black McCoy, could you guys give us an insight into what is cosplay, how you got into it, and then what is it all about? Miss Skittles.
Okay, I'll go first. So cosplay is costume play. If so you don't always have to make your stuff. You can buy your costumes and buy your weaponry or make it or props, whatever you want to do. I particularly make my cosplays. And basically you dress up as fictional characters. I have seen people cosplay their original characters, similar to, you guys creating your characters and LARPing. So, but for the most part, you create characters or become the character, whatever fictional character is out there. There's plenty. It's not limited to comic books or anime. So I've seen people cosplay celebrities. No shade. I think that's strange. But yeah. So for me, cosplay is a way for me to embody my favorite characters in my own way. Not necessarily playing that character to a T. As you can see, I am a gender bent Jafar, and this costume design is my own. But it also accentuates like Jafar's. What am I looking for? Jafar's signature pieces, from the hat and the shoulder and the wand. So I just want. Damn, I lost my whole train of thought. When I cosplay, it is my way of being creative, and like LARPing sounds. Honestly, it sounds pretty dope. It sounds very physical, which cosplay I wouldn't say is so much, like learning movements or anything. I would suggest that you learn your character poses or lines or things of that nature. But the physical part of it is putting the costume on and wearing it at a convention for a majority of the day. That's probably the most physical part of it. And not to downplay it, because sometimes that shit is exhausting. So yeah, for me, cosplay is basically my way of embodying a character the way I would be that character. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love cosplay.
The Black McCoy.
I would say Miss Skittles said a lot. What really does it for me when it comes to cosplay is the creation process. The creation process and the wearing it around all day and the stopping for pictures all day. Those are the most physical, like really involved aspects of cosplay for me. I like Miss Skittles as well. I've seen like people who who cosplay their own original characters. But I think the largest difference between like LARPing and cosplaying your own character is that when you LARP, it sounds like you get the opportunity to not only bring that character to like, fruition, but you get to bring their story out. You get to bring their motivations, their entire persona that you create on your own. Those things get to come to life as well. And that doesn't always get a chance to really happen in cosplay, because it's more so like you just kind of create the art to kind of display and wear and be appreciated, and that process alone can be taxing in a lot of different ways. just from the creation process itself, just from the, not even just the creation process, but the planning process to the creation, then to the we'll say attempts at execution, because even executing has its own challenges when you're at a con and you're moving around all day and you don't have access to your materials, and you're trying to keep everything together looking as perfect as it did when you imagined it before you even started working on it. But I will say, what question am I answering again? I'm sorry.
That's what happened to me. I was like, wait.
You're just giving your own account on what cosplay is, what cosplayers do, and how you can jump into cosplay. But however you answer is fine.
Okay, but I guess my answer for cosplay is not, I don't want to say it's something more static when compared to LARPing, but because LARPing involves a lot more physical involvement, a lot more imaginative involvement as far as taking character building and extending it to world building in a way that it involves a lot more of that, where I would say cosplay is a lot more of building the character itself, and not even just the literal development of the costume or buying the materials you need or buying the pieces that you need, but just reimagining what already is into something more personal, or even something that extends beyond its actual genre. And so I guess I would see cosplay as more of a cross-genre kind of costume, which would, it means costume play. So you get the chance to play around with something that already exists rather than create something, and in doing so create something entirely new, instead of starting from scratch in a way.
Yeah, I kind of see you guys as more like works of art, like different interpretations by different artists. Like you have a character, and pretty much you're putting your own flair and your own flavor into that character. And pretty much you guys are out for display and cons and that kind of stuff, getting your pictures taken and that kind of.
Yeah.
Say on that.
Yeah, so cosplay and LARPing, there's a lot of similarities and differences. Both you have to embody the character or the personality, kind of to its fullest extent, so there is research for both, I would say, cosplay and LARPing, so to speak. You want to put in that personality of your character. I would say cosplay is more capturing that character a moment in time, more so than than LARPing. Whereas LARPing, you really act out that character physically. You have the emotion, you have the personality, and that is being on display in a different way. With cosplay, I would say you're able to reinvent yourself easier, like in a moment of time. Like I can cosplay today a character, tomorrow's a different character, the next day is a different character. I think it's just a little bit different in the sense that you can cosplay multiple characters and then you have to change your personality so quickly. I don't know if it's the same way with LARPing. From what I've seen, you usually have a character that is your personality to extent, or your second self, and you live that character for a longer period of time than cosplay. Not saying you can't do the same thing with cosplay. I've seen, cosplayers who have one character and they just over time reinvent that same character just to see the progression. Mm-hmm. But I would say that with cosplay, I see more cosplayers choosing different characters in a short amount of time and kind of changing it more so to take like a snapshot or to go to a convention. And then after that, they either just kind of done with that character or they just change it little by little. So for my cosplay, I think of it as Halloween 24/7 in a way. I love Halloween, and usually when Halloween comes around, everybody has a character that they pick that they want to do for that year, and they try to live in that moment, and then they change the next following year. Mm-hmm. So with cosplay, it can be anything, like Miss Skittles said. It could be anime, it can be somebody seeing the movie, it can be Greek mythology, it can be different orishas and cultures. So for today, I am doing my rendition of the Greek goddess of rainbows, which is Isis. Isis, Iris. I always get those two mixed up, but I believe it's Isis. Yes, because Iris is Egyptian. So yeah, yes, we'll stick with that. So with my rendition, of course, no one has seen the Greek goddesses per se. Like, that's exactly who that person looks like. I just, in my mind, I did some research on, the goddess and how rainbows kind of trail behind her, and she's flying and she has wings, and in my crown, if you can see it, it has like little lights in the back, and then I have a little rose that glitters as well. I do body painting, so that is kind of my niche per se in cosplay, and it's very time consuming. Sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? But it's really just, your work of art. You want to express yourself and you want to embody that character per se for a picture or for a moment. And then next week I'll probably be like a cow for Chick-fil-A. I'll be a Chick-fil-A cow. Like, it doesn't make no damn sense, but that's just how it's gonna be. Little cowbell eating Chick-fil-A. That's just how it is.